How you dying, still be living, that's ain't know you winning to win, yeah. Living a lie, living a doubt, just still alive, so you winning to win, yeah. Living a lie, living a doubt, just still alive, so you winning to win, yeah. So you winning to win, yeah.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Mystique, Riot. And as you know, it's time for Words of Truth. Why? Because I ain't got no lies to tell you, alright? Now, the topic of today is going to be, you can't win giving in. Alright. Now, people wonder why my life is so blessed. People wonder why I got so much favor from God in my life. To the point, they try to come against me, hate me. They swear up and down. I said they, because I don't swear, all right? That I'm doing hoodoo, voodoo. They think I'm killing, stealing, and I'm just good at it, all right? But let me tell you the truth of my success, all right? I don't ever give in. I don't ever give up. Because the reward comes to he who endureth to the end. And through doubt do we hinder our own blessings. We got to stop allowing other people to tell us what we deserve and what we don't deserve. Because in all reality, we live in a world where it's like crabs in a barrel. Like, that's an old southern saying now, crabs in a barrel. And what does that mean? Every crab in that barrel can get out. But every time one crab makes it to the top, the other crabs come and pull it back down. Too foolish to realize that all of them can get out. So, it takes me back to the story of Lot and his wife. Now, for all of y'all don't know who Lot is, go pick up your word and read it, alright? Because everything I spit to you comes from a basis of the word. Now, Lot was a holy man. And he lived in Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where his wife was from. Sodom and Gomorrah. This is also what God means about marrying unequally yoked people. He was a righteous man. And his wife, she still had ties to this world. Her entire family was in Sodom and Gomorrah. And everybody that know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah now, it ain't mythical. Because Sodom and Gomorrah is a real place over there in Africa right now, okay? And the brimstone and the skulls are still on the ground. So don't think I'm telling you no fairy tale. Alright? But anywho, now, God came to Lot. And he told him, I'm about to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? Because they done committed every sin that's unthinkable before God. And they are in no direction to get it right. Now compare that to the world we live in today. Are we not infested by sin? You got an opportunity to be Lot here. Let me tell you why. Now he was so righteous. And Lot said, but God, if I can just find, like 1, 2, I ain't giving you, like exact right now. Read the scriptures and you'll see exactly what he said. But he like, God, if you can find one holy person, would you spare Sodom and Gomorrah? And he said, Lot, I'll give you that. If I can find one holy person in these lands, one with a good heart, I'll spare the whole city, both Sodom and Gomorrah. The Lord searched, and he said, I can't find none, Lot. I'm telling you, you gotta go. And then let me tell you what God did to even further this. He sent 2 angels to Sodom and Gomorrah. And they went straight for Lot's door and knocked on that door. And Lot knew that they were the angels of God. And he let them in. It wasn't long after Lot let them angels into his house that them sinners came, the world, came knocking on Lot's door. Like, hey, bruh, we just seen them 2 men walk into your house. Give them to us. Lot was like, nah, You can't touch these two men. Take my virgin daughters instead. Nah, and do what you will with them. Nah. You see why God said homosexuality is an abomination? And in the word, it says homosexuality is men falling after their own lust. And they will leave their natural use to woman and lust for one another and lay with a man as they would a woman. And that's what they were asking for those two angels from. Male angels. Because they wanted to sodomize the angels. And this is why they call it sodomy. That was the number one sin in Sodom and Gomorrah. Prostitution and homosexuality. Now somebody would say, well, how good is God? He was going to give up, Lot was going to give up his virgin daughters for two angels. First off, they're angels. But if you further read the story of Lot, let me tell you what his two daughters did now. I'll get to that point at the end. God knew what those two girls were going to do. Those two angels were holy in the heart. Those two girls, they didn't have no faith. Now, anywho, he told them to pack their things up and leave tonight. And anyone who turns around shall turn into a pillar of salt. Now, Lot's wife found it hard. Even though she packed her bags and they packed up their two virgin daughters and they was headed. And as they was leaving the city, you can hear the screams of the people that was left. And it hurt Lot's wife. Why? Because those were her people. Her family was still there. And she disobeyed God. And she did what? She turned around. And as soon as she turned around, she turned into a pillar of salt. And out of fear of what the Lord saying was now true. Not because he said it, but because they seen it. Lot and his two daughters made it. But you see, they didn't have all the faith they needed. So they ended up storing themselves in a cave. Now, Lot's daughters, you could tell they were young. Because their father came from a different land. And that was the land they were supposed to go to. You see why obedience is better than sacrifice. Because instead of going to the land of his people, he went halfway there. And they nested in a cave type thing. It's somewhere that was in between Sodom and Gomorrah and where he was going. And his daughters panicked. Oh my God, what are we going to do? We're the only ones left. Like Sodom and Gomorrah was the only places in the world. You see why it's good to get outside of your little circle. You see why it's good to open your eyes to different horizons and know we don't live in this world alone. Yes, we are in America, but there's way more places in this world than just America, okay? Because you never know where God gonna take you. And out of ignorance, you see why ignorance is a sin. They say what you don't know won't hurt you. What you don't know will destroy you, okay? So they had a grand idea. You see why you got to have discernment. Intuition was that idea that was implanted in their mind. Discernment would have told them. Discernment is using knowledge to determine the spirit thereof. If they had any discernment, they would have realized that that was not the spirit of God. Because even though they were out of Sodom and Gomorrah, the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah was with them. So they had a grand idea. Let's get Daddy drunk. Because it's up to us to repopulate. Let's get our daddy drunk. And they got him drunk. And they raped him, the first daughter. And she got pregnant with a male seed. And then the second daughter got him drunk. And he impregnated that one with a male seed. And this is why the Lord say we should not be given over to drunkenness. Not that drinking is a sin, but drunkenness is a sin. Because you know, that's incest. We all know what that is. And the words say that we should not lie with our mother and our fathers. You see, the world laws ain't so different than biblical laws. Because where you think they got this from? Out of ignorance, they raped their own father. And if he was of a sober mind, it would have never happened. You see, you never know who the devil is going to use to get to you. That's another video. Who you with? Because you see, Lot and his daughters were saved because they was with Lot. But at the same time, Lot was deceived because he was with his daughters who still had Sodom and Gomorrah in their hearts. You see, I want to be the Lot in the situation. If there is anybody that God go warn and save from the destruction that is about to come forth, Lord, let it be me. You see what I mean? The reward comes to he who endured to the end. He was in Sodom and Gomorrah. They say what they be like, what they say, when they're gonna do what they do. He was in Sodom and Gomorrah, but he didn't do what they do. So it is very possible to be surrounded by sin and still come out on top. The only reason it's hard for you to be surrounded by sin and stay holy is because the sin is in your heart. But I ain't saying beat yourself up over the head for it, all right? I'm simply saying deal with it, but don't succumb to it. Most of us ain't even trying to fight. So before you get mad at the next person for being blessed and highly favored, pay attention to their life. Pay attention to the way that they move. They don't see me out here doing what everybody else doing. And no, I don't think I'm holier than thou, okay? I just want to be right. I want the blessings of God. So regardless of what people do to me, regardless of what I see going on around me, I don't doubt God. Because his word said, all I got to do is endure. It might start off hard. It might even get a little harder towards the end. I might stumble and fall, but I'm going to get back up. Because we fall in a race sometimes. That don't mean the race is over. So if you want to become successful in this life without the guilt and the treachery that most people think success is geared towards, stand up for what you truly believe in. If you believe in being cutthroat and stabbing people in the back to make it, be true to that. You'll get your reward. It might be temporary, but you gonna get your reward. You might not be able to keep it. That's why it's temporary. Because the way you get there is the way you lose it. Because you only gonna be there until the next person come and cut your throat to get it. Okay? But if you want to get there and stay there, be the light. Be the one the angels come to warn. Like, I don't know what else to say. You ain't gonna win giving in. What has sin really done for any of us? And I'm not judging anybody. I'm simply giving you the information and breaking down the word of God in a way for you to live your best life. Because your best life don't lead to destruction. Now, don't you sit there and look at, because this man over here doing this, and then God turn around and save him and think you can go do it too. Because the Lord said he give mercy and grace upon whom he will. And in my further studying, he said mercy and grace is for the saints. So people look at me and be like, you so lucky. You always get what you want. But they never look at what I've endured. They've never looked at all the people I've had to cut out. Yeah, I mean. So, I guess that was short and sweet and simple. You not go win, giving in. You got to keep fighting. Because the word of God told us what? He said that the devil can't last as long as you. And the Lord knows that. So all you really doing is outweighing the devil. But you ain't never going to get to the end if you don't believe that God got you. See? God the Father. Yes, that is a sponsorship. I am an ambassador for God the Father. So since I got the shirt on, I might as well let you know. I'll drop a discount code in there. If you want to rep what you believe, you know, hit them up, use my discount code and get you something on on the low. I don't care if it's a shirt, a hat, they got a few things. I got hoodies. I got another shirt. But that's beyond the fact. I got it on, so I had to go there. But I'm just saying, God is the Father. Act like you know that. God is sovereign. Act like you believe that. Because you can't keep talking about God to make a way. But meanwhile, in your mind, you like, oh, I'm doomed. I don't really believe this. Without faith, it's impossible to believe. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. So take baby steps. I ain't asking you to go run no whole marathon. But if you really want to know how to come out on top in true righteousness, hold on. Where this song said, hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. I don't know the rest. It's slipping my mind. But that's the most important part. Hold on, man. It ain't always easy. But that's why the words say when the flesh is weak, the spirit is willing. Because God knows your limits. Because you bound to this flesh. That's the importance of serving God. Nobody has been successful. Man, if you want to be successful, go research successful people. And every last one of them got a God. Even if they're atheists, they serve a God. They serve the God of nothing, which is still the God of everything. Because the God of nothing, he came from nothing. And out of that nothing, there was everything. Yeah, I mean, even the disbelief of God is the belief of God. Because how you go disbelieve something you don't believe exists? But every successful person serve a God. Before you even make the steps to being successful, you need to ask yourself what God you serve. Because that's going to determine the path you take. A lot of y'all saying you serve God, but you really serve the devil because of the means you take to become successful. You willing to sleep with somebody for a higher up position. You willing to sell somebody out. You willing to throw people under the bus. You willing to lie, steal, kill, cheat. All the ways of the devil. Because the word said the devil is here to kill, steal, and destroy. And y'all willing to do all that in the name of success. You're telling me, and you're telling God, that money is your God. Money is an idol. What would you do for the money? What they say, do something strange for a little bit of change. I was telling this same message to somebody that I work with. And one of the other managers heard it. And they swore up and down. They swore because I don't swear. that I was up there doing something inappropriate. And I'm like, it's just a basic conversation. Don't be quick to jump on everything you hear. And that's why we walk by faith and not by sight. At first glance, that could seem off the wall, like what's going on over here. But in reality, it was nowhere near what the hell we thought. Faith would get you past the obstacle because you can't really see the outcome. But you know it's there waiting for you because the battle is already won. Victory is mine, thus saith the Lord. The devil has already been defeated. You just have to have the faith. You can't go by what you're seeing. You can't see that everybody else is coming up and it seems like you still down here. That's sight. You can't go by what you see. You got to know and have the faith that it just ain't your time. It ain't for you. Because what God has for you, it is for you. And what God has put together, let no man tear asunder. Aye. And know that when the time comes, you go get what you deserve. Because this is nothing but a stumbling block. The devil wants you to think that his children are progressing. But ain't none of them happy. Have you really seen the people that's doing what you think you ought to be doing? In the end, are none of them happy. They're stuck in situations that they don't want to be in, asking themselves, was it really worth it? So you know that he who has an ear to hear, hear. You can't win giving in to sin. Because sin pushes us away from God. And you can't expect to be receiving the blessings of God when your life is filled with sin. Start cleaning up your life. A little bit at a time, a little leavens. Leavens a whole lump. Take a little bit of sin out of your life and watch how much peace it brings. People gonna say, oh, you different. Oh, you bougie. Oh, you think you better than us. You not. You just better than the behavior. Because as you see the light, you walk into the light. That's what woke means. It means I no longer live in the dark. But I can now see the light. And I'm willing to walk into it. Well, that's all I got right now. And like I said, let he who has an ear to hear. And as your girl, Mystique Riot, I'm out here. Aight. How much time have I wasted? Think about how I'm gonna face this. People claim that I am extra. Well, I just say they basic. They all turned up to the basic. She got boom like an 808. Making circles like a figure eight. I'm gonna roller skate all over town. Only live once, so hold it down. This body that I'm in, it can cover all its sin. And then I cleanse. And then I cleanse. And now I'm whole again. And they call me hooligan. Even losing is a win. Still alive to fight again.